which means that if you have the RO subtype, which you find 10 times more in black people than any other racial group, if you donate that, a sickle cell warrior can receive that, and that's the gold standard of blood donations for them. And so if you have the RO, the blood service will literally put you in mothballs and say, we need you to be donated on a regular basis, because I guarantee you it's going to go to a sickle cell warrior, because that's what they need. And so we say to our people, please get on the case. If you've not given blood, the most simplest thing, do it, because yes, you can help someone on a one-off basis, fine, but you can help someone on a regular basis and they look like you, you know? Become a potential stem cell donor, bone marrow donor, which is like winning the lottery, but you got to be in it to win it. Be there on standby. Join so donors who look like us, patients who look like us, who live in Lagos, Accra, LA, London, who need that gift of life, you can be found.
Now listening to the In My Opinion podcast, the home of edutainment, brought to you by Sakali, DTM, and Uzuma. So get your drinks, snacks, relax, and enjoy.
Hey, let's move on to the second part of the episode, and that's obviously talking about your wonderful charity, ACLT. Do you want to give us a brief background of how you started it, why you started it, what it stands for the viewers?
ACLT stands for African Caribbean Leukemia Trust. Started in June 1996, and started because of an urgent need to try and help our son, Daniel DeGale, who by that time, when we formed the charity in the summer of that year, he spent over 2.5 years, fighting a blood cancer called leukemia, which basically means that his bone marrow system, the big spongy material in the big bones of your body, which create everything to do with your natural being, including your blood, and everything to do with your cells, his bone marrow system wasn't functioning properly. Now, when someone gets diagnosed with leukemia, to this day, they really still don't know why, what causes it. Some things they do know. If it is a radiation leak or something like that,
makes sense.
Things like that. But Daniel being 6, suddenly being diagnosed, and being diagnosed very late. He was being misdiagnosed a lot because of his dark skin was hiding the telltale signs that this boy was suffering with something more than just flu.
It's a bit like what you hear now with prostate, right? A lot of men are going to their doctors and saying, I want to have a PSA check. The doctor saying, no, go away, you're fine, you don't need to have it. With Daniel, it was the same.
It was that.
He was taking him to the doctors and he said he's fine. One doctor actually suggested that he was stressed.
At 6?
At 6.
Stressed, So we went back and forth to the hospital, to the doctors on 4 occasions before we insisted that they do a blood test.
Wow.
And that blood test, simple blood test, showed them the alarming signs that his white cell counts were being compromised, because your white cells in your blood basically are your immune fighters. They keep bacteria and keep us healthy. Like we're sitting around here now, because our bone marrow is working well, we don't have colds and flus, and we're not run down. And if you are run down, your bone marrow system with the white cells will come out fighting and get rid of the virus and the bacteria. In Daniel's case, it wasn't happening. So whatever viruses was there was running him down. They did a blood test and they could see that, and they said, right, off to Great Ormond Street now. Blue light ambulance now. And they got him and they said, thank God we're doing this now, because if one more week goes by, it'd be too late.
That's how far.
The telltale signs were that strong, and all it took was a blood test. And so they put him on immediately on a protocol of chemotherapy, in the hope that 2 years of this treatment, he would be part of the maybe 70% of kids who go through that journey would come out good the other end. The chemo work, remission, stay off, no more leukemia.
Okay.
That happened between April 93 and the spring of 95. And we were told when he finished that treatment, everything will be okay. Daniel missed lots of school. and went through lots of stuff, losing the hair, the side effects of the chemo, and the steroids and the chubby cheeks and everything that when someone's on cancer, you see the visual manifestation of someone that's going through not the treatment, not the actual cancer. You don't actually see it's the treatment that's all the side effects.
It's awful.
And so we were told as a family, yep, go and live a normal life. We do monthly blood checks. Go and live a normal life. So we went on holiday, and as a family, as you do. And we're in December now. It was Christmas 95.
Wow.
Where the home care team that come around doing the regular monthly blood checks, results, something's not right. Okay, we need to go do more checks. And in the January of the next year, 96, myself and Beverly were at Great Ormond Street Hospital, and his physician told us the bad news, basically, that Daniel had relapsed. The cancer was coming back more aggressively. So basically, the chemo had done a good job, but these rogue leukemic cells had gone hiding and were coming back stronger and beating down his bone marrow system, making him more ill.
So he was getting symptoms again.
No, he hadn't started to get symptoms yet.
Yeah.
Because they were doing monthly blood checks. What they saw was just the beginnings, because the month before they didn't see anything. Yeah, but suddenly they started to see some what they call blast cells. But what that means is leukemic cells were starting to infiltrate into his blood system again.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and we were just as we are now. We were sitting down there being told this, and I'll never forget that moment at Great Ormond Street when he told us this, and I imagined a relay baton on the floor. Just was over there, and I'm thinking, someone's been sitting in these chairs listening to this, and picked up the baton and thought, I need to do something, run in a direction to make a difference to my son or my daughter or whatever. Nah, put the baton down. Let someone else take up that battle. And for me, it was like, pick up the baton. We go home. And we start to plan what we need to do to try and help him.
Basically, the doctors told us the leukemia's come back. Chemo is not enough. It's because we can give it to him, but it will keep coming back.
Wow.
We need to do something more extensive. We need to find Daniel a bone marrow stem cell match, because that will save him. But in order for us to find Daniel's donor, it has to come from within your community, which is Black, African Caribbean. But not many Black people are registering. And at that time, our bone marrow specialist said there's about 550 Black people on the UK register. He said you've got a 1 in a 250,000 chance of finding that donor. And that's what Orin means when he says he saw the baton on the floor in his head, thinking, people have sat here before and been told this. Because right up until that point, every time a Black person was diagnosed with a blood cancer and told they needed a bone marrow transplant to survive, right up until that point, most doctors were not checking the world register to see if donors were available. Because they
just
knew.
Checking the one in the UK.
No, they weren't checking anything.
Oh,
They weren't checking anything.
They weren't checking anything because they knew they
wouldn't find any Black people.
Find the match.
Black people don't register.
Because there was just 550 Black people.
And the register had been going 23 years by then.
24 years.
24
years the
And there was
register
only
had been going.
500
There was 550. I mean, we weren't on. We didn't know anything about this. So we understood that. So as Orin said, we went home that night. And we just thought, damn, we've got to do something about this. We cannot wait for this registry that is in this country to do a search for Daniel in the hope that they will get more people registering. We have to do this ourselves. So we, back in the 90s, bit of paper and pen, and we started listing celebrity names, people that we felt we could contact to try and help us. And we knew that what we needed to do was go into the community and start raising awareness and getting people to register. So we contacted the UK registers, which was a charity called Anthony Nolan, spoke to their people, and they said, oh, so glad you got in touch. We've been trying to get into the Black community. We've just not had any luck. They put us in touch with one other person, another Black person who had tried and failed to try and do something. We had meetings with them to try and understand. And during this period, myself and Orin, we both worked. I worked at the BBC. Orin worked for
An
IT company who so happened to be in the BBC doing a contract, and that's how we met. That's how we met. So we met, and I've lost my train of thought. But
So
yeah,
you're talking about when you was doing you was having a meeting.
Yeah, so
you got put in touch with, so we met this guy, and he said, yeah, it's really difficult. Been trying to do this for a few years. His niece had been diagnosed with a blood disorder called aplastic anemia. She needed a bone marrow transplant. Just couldn't get the community fired up with this. But we felt, you know what, we've got to do this because the alternative is just too shocking to even want to contemplate. So we set up the ACLT, the African Caribbean Leukemia Trust, and friends and family came on board to try and help us. We spoke to Anthony Nolan, the registry, just to understand what the situation was. They gave us free range to go out, use their equipment to get people registered, and just very slowly we started going into
shopping malls,
markets, anywhere there were masses of black people. And I tell you, the response initially was people thought we were mad. Really? Absolutely mad. We just say, would you consider, what do you need me to do? We just need you to give a blood sample. Oh, no, you're not touching me. No, what are you going to do with my blood? You're going to clone me? No, not trusting. And then what happens? What happens if I match? Well, you donate stem cells, etc. And then fortunately, we were able to somehow, we're cutting a very long story.
I can imagine.
But we were able to get in front of, because I worked at the BBC commissioned a new programme called Black Britain. And somebody at the BBC who was a producer, a black lady by the name of Angela Ferreira, I'll never forget her, she's still a friend actually, she put us in touch with that series' senior producer, a gentleman called Pat Young. And initially when I spoke to him, he says, no, we're not doing this. Tried it before. It just doesn't work. And I said, I'm fighting for my son's life. I need you to help us. And he said, okay, all right, we'll do this. And they did a pilot show for Black Britain, and they featured Daniel on it. And that was...
Yeah, that wasn't
quite the start.
Yeah,
there
but
were other things.
It was more or less the start, because it was a trial of a test of the community. And so there was a comedy play taking place at Hackney Empire.
Okay.
And what happened was a health mobile was commissioned to be parked outside Hackney Town Hall, which is next door. And the cameras followed us, myself, Beverly, and Daniel, to sit in the audience. They filmed us going into the Hackney Empire, sitting watching the play. And at the end, the play finished, and myself and Beverly went on stage, and Beverly did a talk to the audience saying, please help. If you want to help, come next door, where you can actually register by giving a blood sample to see if you can help. We ran off stage, watched people leave in the building, thinking people were just going to leave. Yeah. To our surprise, there was queues of black people in the freezing cold.
It was freezing.
Queuing up to go and give a blood sample to be tested to see if they could help Daniel, and if not Daniel, someone else. And I think it was nearly 70 odd people. Wow. And we were like,
wow,
amazing.
That was the very first event we did.
And so we realized, if we can do this, like this, what else could we do? So that started this roadshow, which still goes on to this day, 30 years later, where we go into schools, colleges, corporates, wherever, religious sector, to talk to people and say how someone listening to our message can be of value to someone who needs a bone marrow stem cell transplant or a blood transfusion or an organ transplant. And that was the start of the ACLT. And then as we're doing this, Daniel's still having his treatment, because he's now started another 2-year cycle. 2 years. Wow. In the hope now of finding the needle in the haystack, a donor. And the first person they always check is a sibling. Dominique, the younger sister, didn't match because you're only 1 in 4 chance of matching.
Dominique was 5 when she was tested.
Wow.
And if she had matched, she would have donated stem cells.
Yeah.
And this is what people don't understand. People hear stem cells and they think, oh my God,
Yeah, 'cause
what are you going to do?
Yeah.
But children donate stem cells to children.
Yeah.
That's how simple it is.
What is sort of like? I don't want to
Yeah,
take
no,
you away
no,
from
no.
Where you're going, but I just wanted to kind of dive into that a little bit because some people are listening now and about stem cells. Like, what's the procedure? How simple is it?
So before we explain the procedure, I'll let Orin explain the procedure. Let me just explain. Stem cells are bone marrow cells. It's
Same
the same thing.
Right.
Okay.
And it is our stem cells that make our blood,
Okay.
which is why they call illnesses like leukemia a blood cancer.
Blood cancer, right?
Okay, so just so you understand that.
Yeah.
So when you talk about blood cancer, you are literally talking about something that's gone wrong with the blood. Whether it's the white cells in the blood, whether it's you have something in your blood called platelets, which when you cut yourself, it stops it clots and stops bleeding. That's your platelets. And then we
the white
have
cells.
you have red cells, which are the ones that give you energy. So when you run and you get out of breath, your red cells kick in and it allows you to keep... Red cells give you oxygen.
Oxygen, yeah, that's
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
And the white cells are
And
the immune
white
fighters.
cells are the immune fighters. So when your immune system isn't working, it's because your white cells are either depleted or maybe there's something wrong. In Daniel's case, he had leukemia. Right.
Yeah. So we were doing all these registration drives. Back then, you had to give a blood sample. That was the only way to join the registry. So you had to give a blood sample to be tested. These days, you can still give a blood sample, but you can also give cheek swabs, a bit like long Q-tips, or, and you just coat the inside of your cheeks with your DNA, 3 of them, and you send it off to a lab. The lab looks at what's on here. And in our case, if we all did that, it will come up with a criteria that says these individuals are from an African descent.
Right.
It's totally different to if a white person did it, it's white Northern European descent, or an Asian, and so on. And you break it down even further because when you say white Northern European or Caucasian, the bone marrow types from Nordic people, Scandinavia, is totally different to Slavic, to Mediterraneans, to Anglo-Saxons. White is just a color.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
different. They're all different ethnic groups.
Okay.
Just the same with us, black people, we're different ethnic groups. And so West African bone marrow types are totally different to East African bone marrow types.
Okay.
To North Africa.
And to North African. And then when you put in the Caribbean link, because of what's happened during slavery with the intermixing of the races, you get an African descent alongside a bit of European, a bit of Amerindian or whatever, native Indian. So you get different bone marrow types. And they try to then match whatever they find from the blood or from the DNA from here. They look and see, okay, this 10 out of 10 for Orin is unique to him, but he may match someone around the world who's ethnically similar to him, the patient, and do they match? And it's like, nope, next one, nope, next one. And you're looking at a worldwide register, which is now around 42 million people.
What makes it so difficult for black people, and this is what they say, you need 10 of us to every one white Northern European person that joins the register. And that is because we come from the largest gene pool in the world.
Most
which
diverse.
is a proud fact, but actually it makes it a lot harder to find donor matches. So our work to get people who look like us to register as potential donors, the registries love what we do. Because we are bringing those different stem cell types that they have never seen before onto the register and finding matches for people that just would never have had a chance.
Awesome.
So we're doing all this work. We're metaphorically speaking, locking arms with other families going through the same journey, and they're coming on board and saying, "Can you help our loved one?" And they're saying, "Yeah, we're doing TV appeals, media appeals. This is before this is before social media. It didn't exist.
Yeah.
The internet is just started.
We had the internet.
Just started.
Just the internet.
We're not that old. We had the
Are you
internet.
sure it wasn't teletext, Auntie Bill?
How do you know that?
Oh, I'll never forget teletext. We used to book holidays on
It was the early days of technology as we know it now.
Yeah.
And we were just pushing on. We were doing lots of TV interviews and things. And we're gaining momentum. And Daniel's going through this another 2 years. He's now joined. He's now finished primary school. He's gone into secondary school. And during that summer period in late 98, he's finished his 2 years.
His second 2 years.
Second 2 years. He's gone back into remission again. Okay, so he's gone. Yeah, so he's done 2 years remission, relapse.
2 years.
2 years,
now.
and then he's gone into another state of remission. And I'll never forget this Friday, when doing my job, I was working at Tower Bridge. Barclays Bank had a big office opposite Tower Bridge, and I'm working there with my contractors. And Beverly calls me about 11 o'clock in the morning, and she was frantic. I was like, "What's going on? What's going on?" And she says, "It's happened again." Beverly, whereas I got the call to say, first time, Daniel, something was wrong. This time, Beverly got the call from them to say, it's not looking good, the results.
Wow.
And what basically has happened was deja vu. From Daniel's finishing his treatment, 9 months have come and gone, and he's relapsed for the second time after 9 months. So despite the fact that the chemo seemed to be working, it wasn't working well enough.
And we still hadn't found a match.
Wow.
And so
No match.
we regrouped that and met to go home. Daniel's coming home from school, his secondary school, and unless you went to his primary school with him, you wouldn't know his background. So he's making new friends, you know?
Yeah.
And he's coming home to say, I'm the Year 7 football captain. We got the big match against our sister school.
Yeah,
so it was like Man United versus City. You know, the two playing off, and they're playing, and he's captain, and the very next day on a Saturday, and we had to say to him, sit down, we need to tell you. And he's like, no. We told him, and you can imagine how angry he was. That his life, he knew what was going to happen. He was going to have to go back on treatment, and all the side effects were going to kick in again. And after about an hour or so, he readjusted and realized, okay. The next morning, we went across the road where they were playing their match, and he captained this team to a winning 3-2 victory.
Nice.
But we knew from the Monday, we're going to have to get back on that cycle.
Yeah.
And we were told his chances had dropped to 25%. Because the clock was ticking. He's had 2 relapses. And so we went ballistic. We'd had media coverage and this and that, but suddenly it went into a different orbit. And we started making, we had a motto back in those days called by any means necessary. Taking Malcolm X's words. And we started to get celebrities and the community doing live TV shows where queues and queues of black people and their children and adults and wanting to come and register with us.
Small children were saying, can I register for Daniel?
Yeah, because Daniel would go on camera and say, if you can't help me, you might be able to help someone else. And so he was so articulate and so humble. He was so humble in his way that, I've just got to go through it. And so we have this parallel journey, the personal journey with Daniel, and the journey to try and get more donors, and hopefully as a byproduct that he would find a match. And then miracles happened.
Yeah. So, and by the way, we had a lot of support from them. Because influencers didn't exist in those days. So celebrities all came on board, and whoever was a celebrity in this country at the time all came on board to try and help Daniel. They got tested, they went on TV and spoke about it. It was great. But one day in March of 1999, I got a call from our bone marrow specialist, and he never called up us at home. So I knew something was up. And he said, Bev, I've got some news. We found Daniel's donor. And this is 99. Daniel was diagnosed in 93, 6 years of treatment. And I said, wow, really? And Dan was sitting next to me. He said, yes. I said, have they been contacted? Yes. Have they had all the tests? Yes. They're going to be donating, and we just need to get Daniel prepped. Wow. Now that prep is huge. At the time, Daniel was a bit worried because he'd had 2 relapses. He knew this has to work, because if this doesn't work, Basically, that's it. He knew that, and he was very concerned. And I said, Dan, I said, this is what we've been fighting for. We've got to go ahead with this. And also, he knew that he'd have to go into isolation for a long time. So we just prepped him, and on June the 16th, so this was March, so everything had to be put in place for this to happen. We never said anything publicly. We continued with the registration drives because also myself and Noreen are painfully aware that this isn't just about Daniel. There are other people that are in this situation. Yeah. And if we made an announcement, we was concerned that people would stop registering. So we just kept the work going. And then on the 16th of June, whilst we was at Great Ormond Street Hospital, the donated stem cells were brought into the hospital by a courier. It had flown across from Detroit, Michigan.
Looks a bit like this fruit juice.
Yeah, that's what came into Daniel's room. These are stem cells.
That's stem cells.
That is stem cells. You don't have to say, look, stem cells.
Yeah.
This is stem cells. This is what it looks like. It's a fluid.
It's fluid.
Yeah. And the donor, a born-again Christian from Detroit, she donated 5% of the stem cells in her body. This is what 5% looks like.
There's a 5%.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what 5% looks like.
Does it replenish?
And it replenishes. It's like blood.
So thing of bone marrow in this context, and I have to say this: black people love bone marrow.
When we're eating it, yeah.
What do you eat it in? What do you eat it in?
In the bone. I suck it out of the bone.
Which bone? What bone?
Oh.
Chicken bone.
Is it
chicken bone?
Yeah.
Oh, the chicken bone.
I mean, you get it in beef and anything, but you think about chicken bone when you suck on it, and you get that juice. That's what this is.
Out of ours.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the stem cells are in the fluid.
Are in the fluid. Yeah. So you can buy bone marrow to eat.
Yeah.
Right.
Not human bone marrow,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
But you can buy bone marrow to eat, and what you're eating is this. Yeah.
So how do they take it out of somebody? What's the process?
Daniel's donor.
Yes.
She has sickle cell trait. So that means she's a carrier.
Okay.
And because she's a carrier, she donated under general anaesthetic from the hip bone area here, not the spine, from the hip bone. So they put a needle in.
Okay.
Your
sleep.
Yeah.
Draw out the stem cells.
Put in the
We
bag.
end up with this.
Yeah.
At the end of it, put some plasters on. And when she woke up, she said she felt like she'd been to the gym.
Oh,
You know when you go to the gym and you haven't worked out for a while?
Yeah.
She just felt like she'd been to the gym.
Okay.
that's what I was going to ask you. If
But
there's any
10% of people donate in that way.
Yeah.
She donated in this way.
Yeah, most people don't.
90% of people donate like you're donating blood
Oh.
through a
Vein in
vein.
the arms.
While you're
In the arm.
awake.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Technology's moved on.
So it's quite straightforward.
It's very
So
straightforward.
it's only because she's a carrier. That's why
She
to
had to do it
that
from here.
procedure.
But you
Yeah.
mentioned the spine. What?
There's nothing.
Well,
Some
people
people
think-
assume
Yeah.
that they
People think-
take
That they
it
do the
from the spine, but they
spine,
don't. They take
right,
it from the hip.
Okay, so the confusion is this: patients have what they call the spinal tap, when they have to see what's happening with their bone marrow system
when they've been
when they've been
diagnosed.
diagnosed.
Right, I see what you mean.
Patients have that.
But not donors.
don't.
But that's not the
No.
yeah.
The donors who donate, it's nowhere near the spine. It's actually in the hip region.
Hip bone.
And that would only be if they're carriers, anyways.
Yes,
But
yeah.
Yes,
not,
if you're
it'd be
if you're a sickle cell
cell
carrier,
carrier,
you
yeah.
donate from
from the
here.
hip. But otherwise,
If you
it's
don't,
just
you just do it from a vein in the arm.
vein.
But
So
the thing was trying to find the donor, and because so few black people are registering,
registering. Yeah.
the problems Daniel and others like him were having is like, we would go into hospital with Daniel to have treatment, and there'll be families, white families, sitting over there, and they'll be having conversations. The mother's saying, "Oh, my loved one had a donor, but they pulled out." But they found another one in Germany, and they found 2 more over here and 3 more over there, and we're sitting there
For
going,
some people, it was just that they had the pen
Yeah,
and the
but
letter.
they didn't know any different.
They didn't know
so
any
they
different.
just thought it was standard.
Yeah.
And then you'd have a sprinkling of black people and Asians sitting in the same room, just looking, thinking,
"You don't know how lucky you are."
If only.
we've got nothing, absolutely nothing. So we waited 6 years for that miracle to come through. And that lady gave Daniel the opportunity to go back to school 6 months later. He was 12 when he went back to school. A few years later, he did his GCSEs, got all A star to C grades, went on to do his A levels, did 3 A levels, and then went off to university to study sports physiotherapy because he wanted to be
at the
a
London Olympics.
at the London Olympics as a sports therapist.
Wow.
But
That was the one in 2012, isn't it?
2012, yeah. Really excited. He had girlfriends, went on holiday, did all the things that kids do. But he started to have other problems.
Oh, not related to the...
Well, it's
Wow,
all
good
related.
question.
It's all related. So the stem cell transplant worked.
Okay.
He was leukemia free. But because he waited 6 years, and in that 6 years he was on chemotherapy, radiotherapy, do you know steroids?
Yes, yeah.
Do you know what they do to your body?
Yeah.
Right. And other toxic drugs.
And the blood transfusions.
And countless blood transfusions, which under normal circumstances would be fine. But Daniel was receiving blood from well-intentioned white people. And
Which is fine on a one-off basis.
So not constant.
Not if you're receiving blood on a regular basis,
it
like
needs
Daniel.
to come from someone who is ethnically similar to you.
And that's
back in that time, we did not have the campaigns that we have now.
so few black people were giving blood anyway. Yeah. And so he's receiving this blood, which is fine, okay, but there's a cause and effect down the line. And what happens is if you receive blood on a regular basis and it's not from the same set of people, what happens is your blood starts to build antibodies and it starts attacking itself.
It
starts basically attacking itself.
Attacking your organ.
It sees new antibodies coming in and it attacks and it starts to compromise other parts of your body.
Did they know that?
They did. They did know.
Did they speak to you about
They did know.
But
there was nothing they could do because Daniel had developed a condition called hemolytic anemia, which is a breakdown of the red blood cells, and all they could do was keep giving him blood. So he would literally get up in the morning, go to university, and on the way back stop at University College Hospital, receive 3 to 5 units of blood every week. He'd go home, be as high as a kite, and 2-3 days later, the red cells would drop again. They'd have to order more blood, and then the following week, more blood. And as Orange says, the antibody build-up that started to develop in him just overtook him. So he knew he was dying.
Yeah,
he knew.
To the point that he was... And this happens with sickle cell patients as well, who need regular blood transfusion. If you get too much of it, you start to develop iron overload, which is a problem. And then that's a job to get the iron overload out of you. So you're caught between the rock and a hard place. And Daniel was in that situation. And in the end, and also something that, going back to an earlier section of this show, we talk about organs.
Yeah.
Daniel's spleen had to be taken out.
They tried to remove it in the hope that it would solve the problem that he was having. Unfortunately, it didn't work for him.
But then if they were removing that, because on the research shows it
helps clean the blood.
Filters the blood. But if they remove it, what was going to be in place to filter the blood?
I don't know. They were trying to get on top of this problem, which they couldn't get on top of, and they realized the spleen is being compromised because of what was happening with his blood and the antibodies build-up.
Yeah.
So they thought, you know what, we need to... process of elimination.
The spleen became a problem.
Yeah.
So they had to remove. They tried to remove it in the hope it would correct itself.
And at first it looked like things were going okay, but then it
failed.
It failed. And so Daniel was being, we was on a downward slope and in a horrible way. And in the end, despite being cancer free, we lost him at the age of 21. In early October 2008 to multiple organ failure.
Okay.
So Daniel had, when you look at his life, his journey, he had a major battle against blood cancer, leukemia. He had a major battle in the end with having received well-intentioned blood donations, but having a cause and effect. And then the third leg was needed a liver transplant, a kidney transplant, and we were like, yes, test us. But he wasn't strong enough to receive. And that's the reason why we do all 3 forms of donation now, because ethnicity became clear. Ethnicity is a factor in the best outcome for someone like Daniel who needs a bone marrow stem cell transplant, race counts, regular blood transfusion, race counts. Needing a kidney or liver transplants, race counts. And so we lost him at the age of 21, but we knew that his legacy, we had to keep going. We had to keep the flame alive. And we were finding donors for other people along the way. But since we lost Daniel, it has accelerated incredibly, because a lot of people who tried to help Daniel back in the day have now gone on to be helping other people. You know, donors who came to drives back in the 90s, 2000s, they're now being found for people around the world. You know, and we're finding donors right across the racial spectrum, and getting more black people to go and give blood to help those sickle cell warriors who, like Daniel, need well-matched blood every 6 weeks or so, because what's become very clear in recent years is that there are a lot of black people, unbeknown to them, who have a special blood subtype called RORO.
Yes, your boy DT, don't talk, just listen, aka Designated Driver. Listen, guys, come on. You've been on the journey with us. Why are you not liking? Why are you not subscribing? Do you want me to beg? No, we don't really beg. I know you guys are enjoying the content, so please like, share, subscribe. Peace.
Which means that if you have the RO subtype, which you find 10 times more in black people than any other racial group, if you donate that, a sickle cell warrior can receive that, and that's the gold standard of blood donations for them. And so if you have the RO, the blood service will literally put you in mothballs and say, we need you to be donated on a regular basis, because I guarantee it's going to go to a sickle cell warrior, because that's what they need. And so we say to our people, please get on the case. If you've not given blood, the most simplest thing, do it, because yes, you can help someone on a one-off basis, fine, but you can help someone on a regular basis and they look like you, you know? Become a potential stem cell donor, bone marrow donor, which is like winning the lottery, but you got to be in it to win it. Be there on standby. Join so donors who look like us, patients who look like us, who live in Lagos, Accra, LA, London, who need that gift of life, you can be found. You can be part of that 42 million, you can be found. And on organ donation, as Daniel highlighted, you know, ethnicity becomes a major factor when someone needs a kidney transplant or liver transplant and they're black or South Asian, because it's those two groups that suffer the most. If we don't donate, as a report that came out last week, an annual report highlighted, most black people and South Asians who are waiting for an organ transplant, especially the kidneys and liver, if they're lucky, they'll get their organ transplant from a white person who just happens to match. But 80% of those black and Asian people get their donors from white people because there are not enough black people on the list. But the doctors will say if they had a choice between a black organ donor, kidney donor, and a white kidney donor for a black patient, and everything's similar between the two donors, they're going black to black, Asian to Asian, white to white, because the outcomes long-term are better because of the tissue type, which comes back to our DNA. And so that's what we do. We go out there and raise awareness on all levels, face-to-face, digitally, podcasts or whatever, to say to someone, look, go and give a cheek swab. Put yourself online, get on with life, but know that every time you hear about someone needing a bone marrow stem cell donor, you're thinking, could it be me? Could I get the call? You know, go and give blood. You know, Saturday I gave blood at a special session we did in Brixton on our One Drop Saturday events, and that was my 63rd donation.
Wow.
And for me, it's like, in fact, I'm looking forward to the text that will come probably in another week or two, and it will tell me which hospital it's gone to. You can actually track.
I can see that it's been used.
And it's never the same hospital. It's always a different hospital.
Well, it won't be because they're matching you.
They're
going to be in different places.
And it's a fabulous feeling to have, to know that you can be part of your community and directly
literally
empowering.
saving lives.
Literally.
And I remember you said, you mentioned how one donation saves how many lives?
So one donation of blood will save 3 adults or 6 babies' lives.
That's just,
Look at that.
and it takes how long?
To donate blood, the actual donation
Yeah.
takes 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But you will be in the blood centre about an hour. Filling in forms, and then even after you give blood, just sitting for a bit and having
sure they're checking
having
you.
something to eat and drink something.
So on Saturday, I, when it started beeping, I went and looked over 7 minutes, 15 seconds.
All right,
Yeah,
all right.
which is relatively fast for me because I've been much slower.
Yeah, I've been quicker than you.
That's because you're younger.
He got you there. But I love that. And that, like, 3 lives,
Yeah.
8 babies, did you say?
6 babies.
6 babies,
6
sorry.
babies
Yeah.
or 3 adults.
For 15.
Yeah, and I love what you guys like. Like I said, I feel like one thing that is great about you guys is you really break it down and let people dispel a lot of myths and a lot of the way people, some of the negative stigmas and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And apart from that, you make it so simple and easy for people to understand what it is.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of people are worried because they don't know. When you hear stem cells, you hear bone marrow. It just sounds like a huge.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you know what I mean. So when you guys are doing, is making it now. This is actually quite straightforward. This is what it is, and that could be saving multiple lives. So
Yeah, we're not here to preach. We always say, if you listen and allow us to talk and explain, people can make informed decisions. So if you decide when we finish that it's not for you now, but you'll take away some information, at least you know.
exactly.
And a lot of people do come back to us and say, do you know what, I'm really ready to do this now. And if you're not, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. If you don't want to do it, support us.
Yeah.
Financially support us so that we can get the work out to much larger.
It's amazing to watch the how it empowers others in different fields of life. In religious terms, we've seen people going to the mosque and passing us and saying, no, it's not, it's against my religion. And we've spoken to them, and they've gone and spoken to the imam, and an hour later they're back. And they're like, yeah, you're right, And the imam says it's good to give and to receive, and okay, sign me up. And we say to people, if you're Christian, look at the biblical text. It's good to give. You say if you're a Christian, Jesus shed his blood, gave his life, his blood for us to survive. And think about it. Think of the connotations and symbolisms of what this is all about. So you utilize your faith in the way that in a way that the text says so, in a positive way. If people don't want to, then it's fine. We don't.
Not forcing people.
We don't force, browbeat anyone. We just put the facts out there and say, look, this is what it can do. But it's something that we can do for ourselves. We don't have to rely on others to do it for us. They can only look on the sidelines and say, well, bro, I want to help, but genetically, we're not the same in this respect.
And that's what we used to get a lot.
I'm going to help one of my own.
Yeah.
And so we say to people,
Now we are helping.
Yeah.
But we need a lot more.
Yeah.
Oren, can you just quickly explain it's not just about registration and working with our community, it's also about the work we do in government and also...
We're now, we're now at the top table in terms of the influence of things. So we work with the top physicians and on blood donation, organ donation, bone marrow stem cell donation, all the top politicians are out there, especially the black politicians are working with us very much so, and others outside the black community in terms of the political fields of trying to make sure that policy is changed to enable ethnic minorities to get equal access to the treatments that's there. Even with the technology changes going on, there's still discrimination going on.
That's right.
And so the ACLT and others are working together to make sure that when a patient is diagnosed, making sure the patient is diagnosed at the right time, not like what happened with Daniel, being misdiagnosed.
Or not being diagnosed.
Or even not being diagnosed. So timely access to diagnosis, getting the diagnosis correct first time, getting them on the pathway to treatment and making sure that they get the treatment at the right time, every time, especially those with sickle cell. in terms of when they need pain relief because they're going through a crisis and they rock up at A&E, that they're not treated as drug addicts.
Yeah.
Yeah, because too many people in the medical field, the nurses and the doctors look at them and think, well, they're here for morphine because they want to get a fix. No, these people are in crisis and they understand and recognize, get trained. So make sure the policies are trickled down from the top to make sure these physicians understand and see the signs, or when a sickle cell patient comes to them needing help, making sure that the access to stem cell transplants, to blood donations, to kidneys and livers and organ transplants, the route to getting that help is the same as anyone else. And that's what the ACLT is working on. And by hook or by crook, we're making sure that changes, those changes happen.
Yeah.
And it has to happen on scale, because there's people right now who need the help. Yeah, we wanted to put things in place for those coming down the line, but there's people right here, right now, who need it. So we're saying on to two crowds: those who are the commissioners and who have the power, the means, the resources, the money. Make sure that when we come calling and we need some help as patients, it's there.
It's there.
And those who want to help, make sure that the doors are there so they can help. Those from our community, don't finger point. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, are we doing enough? Because when we all say Black Lives Matter, yeah, Black Lives Matter, but what are you doing about it?
It's the actions.
What's the action? What are you doing about it to change the status quo, especially when you're the only ones ethnically, racially who can help? No more excuses. So both sides work together, and the ACLT, myself, Beverly, and everyone are going to be continuously doing this, because we know we're one call away, phone call or email away from someone saying help, help, and we will never turn them down.
We was at an event at the weekend, and this lady came up and said to me, I opted out of the organ donor register.
Yes.
Because I heard all of the stories about them using our bodies for research and taking our kidneys and bits. She says, but I need to get back on. How do I do that? My sister has just been diagnosed as needing a kidney transplant.
So it's like, well, usually when people are going through, that's when they're moved to want to do this. But it's like, we need to be having this, working hard already, having these facilities in place. So God forbid, whenever you do go through stuff, the help is there.
Don't wait for it to happen to you.
We want to be in a situation where the doctors, the scientists go, okay, we need to find a solution for this patient. Okay, which ones do I choose? Who's there? Who's been on the register for all these years? Who is the best? That's where we need to be. You know?
It is
and you're getting
there.
the closest match possible. Not having to.
Yes.
And I think I heard as well there's now like a card thing where they sickle cell patient can give when they go into hospitals to kind of like help identify, because again you talk about the discrimination where they don't get seen in time, they just get left to the side. So I heard there's like a card. I remember the guys we had on, because after we met you guys at the Forbes, the gala that you had, we had some of the
sickle cell warriors.
Yeah, some of the sickle cell.
Yes, the guys that were there.
Exactly. We had them on. Exactly. We had them on, and so they were telling us that apparently they're working. There's a card.
Oh,
and
brilliant!
Things like that,
so you know more than I do. I didn't know this. This is great.
I remember they were mentioning that. So I was like,
such a simple thing.
That's an amazing step towards getting rid of that issue. At least starting to address that issue.
What I was gonna say. What are some of the top myths around donating or even being on an organ register?
So
you'd like to dispel?
So that people understand, we're talking about stem cell, we're talking about blood, and we're talking about organ, and all three have myths.
Yeah. Do you want to do one from each, or?
Yeah. I mean,
one of the most common one, which I know Warren's going to say. I'll say.
The one that you found out, you heard that, you're like, what?
Yeah. People ask if they're going to clone me.
Clone.
Yeah. If you get my DNA from here, are you going to clone me or give it to the police for stop and
The thing
search?
is, I could pull a hair out of your head,
and that's it, right?
And I've got your DNA.
Yeah. So I don't have to go through
people just need to understand.
Yeah.
It's not just about giving a cheek swab that they're going to get your DNA. They can get it from just putting something under your fingernail and getting your DNA.
Yeah, something you drink, a cup or whatever. They can
just leave
get
the
your
cup
DNA.
behind. Just take the cup. And
that's right.
Yeah, it's you got that. You've got if someone organ donation, as you say, if someone tragically is ending up on ICU in the hospital, and it's just beeping noises, and the physicians around you,
Are they going to try and save
are they going to try and
or
save
are they
me
going
or
to take my organs to save someone else?
Yeah, are they going to?
Oh, because they know you're on the register.
Yeah. Yeah, will they
okay.
try and save me or no? Take those organs, we'll get it for someone else. Wow. You
And
hear
what's
that?
the answer to that? The answer to that is...
How do you dispel that one?
Yeah, so the team that are trying to save you are not the teams that are part of the organ transplant service. And they cannot do anything until you're clinically brain dead.
Yeah.
And then they have to get permission from your loved ones. So you could be on the organ donor register, say that you want to donate, but if they have to ask your family's permission still, and if your family says no, they cannot take your organs. They have to agree. And this is part of the problem. A lot of people are signing up, but their loved ones are refusing. So we're saying to people now, you have to have that conversation with your loved ones.
You let them know that you're
want
on.
to donate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a case of getting a bit of knowledge to disperse away the many myths and fears and taboos. And, you know, like blood donation. Even here recently, people say, well, if they get my blood, are they really going to use it? Or are they going to do total research on it? Is it going to go to the right people? And we're like, oh yes, it does go to the right people. You know, they need to make sure it's whatever your blood group is, it goes to the patient that needs it.
Yeah.
And because it's used so quickly.
Because if it's in the same blood group, you can't use it anyway.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly. So there's
on occasion, though, some people, they start donating blood and they don't get enough. The veins will shut down.
Oh, right.
And unless they get that full 475 mils of blood, they can't use it.
Oh, wow.
So in those circumstances, the NHS will use your blood for research.
Oh,
Now,
right.
research is very important because if they can't research, we cannot make the whole things better. It's a bit like cancer research. You have to do research to make the treatments better. And it's exactly the same with blood donation. In Daniel's case, he was receiving blood that was not well matched enough for him. They're now realising, actually, he needed ethnically matched blood. And without the research, they can't find this information out. So people have to understand that if you go to give blood, and for example, they don't get enough blood and they cannot use it, it's not just thrown away, because that would be a complete waste.
Of course, yeah.
They will use it to research so that they can make things better for patients generally.
Yeah. And on the stem cells, you know, it is. I mean, to give you an example of how this works, the race of people that probably find it easier the most to get matching donors are people from Japanese descent.
Oh, right.
The reason being, Japan, until very recently, was an island race, never mixed with anyone. So finding donors was much easier for them. They had much more common bone marrow types or stem cell types. Now that they start to mix with the rest of the world, you're getting mixtures going on. But because Africa is so diverse, so you're talking billions and billions of people, the differences amongst us is so huge. And because the human race evolved from Africa and it's changed and it's changed and it's changed as it's gone on, you're getting different bone marrow types as the human race has evolved into what we now call Caucasians and to Asian people and Far East people and so on. It's taken on a world of its own. So when people say we're all the same, we are the same to a degree. But when it comes to this subject matter of your bone marrow type, tissue type, then ethnicity becomes a real factor in it. And like I say, with Daniel and Doreen.
Daniel's donor.
Yeah, Doreen, who's Daniel's donor. How do they link? She lives in Detroit. He lives in London. The link was, despite the fact that he's London born, he's got African Caribbean roots that go back to West Africa. She's a native of Detroit, Michigan, generation after generation, but her genes through slavery go back to West Africa. And what it highlighted was, despite everything that's happened to our race, our strong African genes still keep us together and go back to a certain point in time. And that's how you can find us. So it's not where you're born, it's where your genes go back to. You know, so that's you know.
That's where you think about it is crazy.
Very important.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, I'm so glad you guys have dispelled the myths, especially even showing the stem cells there. I think that helps to visualize it for people.
Yes.
I didn't know it was that simple. I'm not gonna lie. Coming into this, I thought that you had to do an operation or something. Because when you hear bone marrow, you think they're going to open me over
extract
and then extract my bone marrow and then. But that's
one of the myths, actually.
Yeah.
What people say.
That, and it's so simple. And I do feel like the work that you guys are doing is so amazing, because I think black people worldwide, we've gone through a lot of mistrust of the medical field because of stuff that's happened to us back in the days. Like, I was reading about the Tuskegee syphilis. What was the experiment that they did on the 600 men, and it's like not telling them they had syphilis, not treating them. So I get why people have mistrust.
Absolutely.
Totally.
And we talk about this all
a
the
lot.
time. We talk about
Henrietta Lacks. There's examples going back to the breeding that was going on in certain islands in the Caribbean to get the strongest slaves. All sorts of things going.
We get it.
We don't forgive. We don't forget. We will never forget. But going forward, when we know the science is proven that actually we can't depend on others to help us.
Save us,
It's actually got to come from us. And so for me and Beverly, one of the legacies that we want to leave long term, when we're long gone, is to inspire and motivate others within Africa and the Caribbean to create their own infrastructures to be able to find donors, because it's all about finding those people who are like us. So where are we the majority? We're the majority in the Caribbean. We're in the majority in Africa. Create facilities and infrastructure so that you can actually find these donors. You know, because, you know, we're in Europe and we're in America and other places, but we're very much a minority. And because it's difficult finding donors, where you have to get 10, 20 times more than your white counterparts, go to where we're the majority. And create something there, and create a culture where people go, normal. I'll go and give blood to help my sickle cell patients. Let me get into blood donation, become a bone marrow stem cell donor. Let's self-help. It's just a matter of making sure the politicians and the medical establishments think out of the box and say, you know what, this one's on us. This is how we could easily sort this out, because we are the majority.
We went to Ghana in 2006 to help a young Guyanese gentleman who needed a bone marrow transplant. We went out there with 200 kits to take 200 blood samples to see if we could find his match. We was there for 7 days. First 3 days we did filming with television, radio, newspapers, so that they could cover the story of us coming over. On the first day that we started taking the blood samples to see if we could find this guy's donor, we had to ring back to London to ask for more kits.
Wow.
Demand was strong.
Demand with the queues of Ghanaians wanting to register.
Wow.
And we thought, if this can, it wasn't for us to do. We were there trialing to see what would happen. If this could be replicated, oh my God, we could solve this problem.
But what I was going to ask you guys is that not something you have considered, like looking into, especially when it comes to like expanding into Africa, even if it's like, because I feel like you guys have done it so long now, you've got that blueprint. And it might just be, you remember you spoke earlier on, I'm just doing a quick 360 about the baton and picking that up. And it might just be about, different bases in Africa, where's the hub here? Okay, here you go. We're handing this blueprint over for you here. You start off there, go to another one. And, you know, it could just be that, because again, with Africa, like resources sometimes, we lack that. And then we even lack, where do you start from? So sometimes when you have someone like yourselves who has the whole play, handing it to the right person, and they can get that kickstart.
Well, we've been doing this 30 years, and there's no other organisation that has, and no other group or family that has come up behind us and said, we're going to do this. Wow. This is how difficult it is. What we do is tough. There is something in Nigeria
It's nothing
called
small.
the Nigerian Bone Marrow Registry.
Okay.
But we don't know how proactive they are.
They are, exactly.
In Ghana, there's nothing. There's something in South Africa, but we know what South Africa, it's led by the white
Of course.
population.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
That's it.
Yeah, there's nothing really
In
out
the
there.
Caribbean,
tough.
there's nothing.
Yeah.
Wow, just imagine that. Like there should be one every, especially African country, like we're the most affected. Imagine that.
Yeah, yeah.
We would love to.
If people want to support us to create that, bring it on. Because
Yeah, and that's what it's about,
It's all
yeah.
about scale, getting the finances and to get more finances, bring more resources and more expertise. We have the expertise. You just got to get the support to actually make it happen. Because that's what we want. We want to leave that legacy.
Yeah.
We really want to leave that legacy and say, you know what? Which part of West Africa, or Central or East or South Africa do you want to go and do this this body work, and in the Caribbean, because it needs to be done, and we just got to support people like us and organizations like us to make it happen. We're prepared. We're prepared to do it. We just need that help and support.
And hopefully all you guys listening and watching, there you go. Like, we can put you in touch. So please reach out.
I was just going to say then, what would you say to somebody that's scared of either donating blood, stem cells, or registering on the organ donation?
Well, I hope that after hearing our talk today,
Yeah.
that if they were scared, that they won't be scared anymore. And if you are still scared, just get in touch with our team.
Yeah.
Every last Saturday of each month, we host an event at the Brixton Blood Donation Centre called One Drop Saturday. We did one this Saturday gone, where 86 black people signed up to donate, and interesting, 30 odd of them did not turn up after lots of work to get them there. But 55 did, and of that 55, I think just under 40 actually donated.
Wow.
You lose people because of low iron, travel overseas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was our case.
yeah,
because we just got back from Nigeria.
Yes,
and I
yeah,
remember we
yeah,
spoke about
that's
that,
a huge thing in our community. So just come along to one of these sessions so that you can feel that you're amongst our people. Safety in numbers, as we say. And we had a guy who was part of Saturday, who called the office last week and said, "I want to do this, but I am a bit nervous because I'm just worried about the whole process." So we talked him through it, and he said, "Wow, thank you, that's great." He said, "I'm back on," booked his appointment, and we talk a lot to people, talking them through this whole thing.
Sometimes that reassurance.
Yeah, reassurance.
I promise
and
you,
we always talk a lot about who is the messenger with this.
Yeah.
So if we were sitting here now and I was maybe white Northern European from NHS, maybe people wouldn't take it on.
Yeah.
But because we are a family that has been through the worst circumstances in this, and we've done our research, we know what is involved in this, and we know that actually people have nothing to fear other than when people say they're frightened of needles, then we just try and talk you through that. But in terms of trust, we ask people to trust us, and that we promise them that what we are taking your blood for is to try and help someone, and it's not going to be used for anything else.
No, you're very I mean, from when we first met you, that's when we signed up to go and give blood.
Yes.
You lot are so great at explaining everything. And I'm going to go sign up to do the stem cell as well, and the organ donation. Yeah. The stem cell one, I just didn't know enough about it, but now you guys have explained it so wonderfully.
And the thing about the stem cell, as we keep saying to everyone that signs up, it's probably going to be the only thing they ever do on the subject matter, because you just won't match. It's only if you miraculously match someone. It is like winning the lottery for someone else,
Changing their life.
Yeah.
And they just use the one that they've already taken, isn't it? If you do,
Yeah,
or they do sample initially, isn't it? Just to have you on the register.
if there's a patient in this country that needs help, and they're going to do a worldwide search, they might find one in this country, there might be one in America, there might be one in Australia, and they go back to that person and then get a real-time check on how is that person physically right now in real time.
Right.
What's their medical health now?
Right.
And if everything's okay, they just do more checks to make sure everything's okay. They get them prepared to donate those stem cells, and they synchronize obviously they narrow it down to the one person around the world. So it's a one-to-one situation. Patient gets ready, like Daniel did, in an isolation room. All the rogue and bad leukemia, blood cancer cells are taken away, and they're in an isolation room all by themselves, waiting, and they synchronize getting the person who's donating to donate, and then they donate. Courier brings this
Back.
from wherever they are around the world.
Really?
Yeah, they get fast-tracked through all the customs and everything.
Everything.
When COVID hit, the only people that were allowed to really travel were people like this,
Wow.
going through the customs to get to the other end.
Wow.
Yeah, it makes a difference. We had a case study many years ago when 9/11 happened and the world stopped and all the airspace outside of North America stopped. But one plane got through just in time with something like this for a patient we saw the next day at King's College Hospital.
No way.
So a patient who we knew, his donation got through just in time for him to receive, for him to live and live his life.
He's now living in America, living life.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's how important. If someone is found, it's
It's amazing.
it makes it
life-changing.
It makes a difference, and if you can help someone along the way, even if you're not directly involved in their treatment, if you can help, the difference that can make down the line is stories like this. Young Ethiopian young man studying to be a doctor in South Africa.
He wasn't studying to be a doctor.
well,
He was too young. So a young gentleman that his parents contacted us from Ethiopia.
Yeah.
Wow.
Their son was diagnosed with leukemia. They didn't have the treatment in Ethiopia for him to survive. So they contacted ACLT and said, can you financially help us? So we sent over some money. He received his treatment in South Africa.
That's it.
Oh, wow. So transfer.
And about 10,
No, a bit further than that.
15 years ago, he contacted us.
Out of the blue.
Out of the blue, and said, Beverly and Oren,
I'm in London.
this is Johannes. You helped me and my family. I'm now leukemia free. I'm now a doctor.
Saving lives.
Can I come and meet you? So we met him for lunch.
Yeah.
For dinner.
For dinner.
Dinner.
In central London.
He's now in the States doing amazing work.
yeah.
Oh my days.
Yeah. That just shows you if you can help in some shape
Connect
or
the
form.
dots, yeah.
We didn't really have the money to such. We thought we can make a little donation
Yeah.
that would help to
It
make sure.
wasn't a little. We gave them quite a bit.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
what we had at the time.
For what we had at
Yeah,
the time.
what
we
you
had
had,
to,
yeah.
you know, and thankfully it worked out,
Yeah.
you know.
So this was the donation was 15 years ago.
So no, we saw him. When was it? It was about 15 years ago we saw him, wasn't it? I'm sure
Oh, you
it
saw
was.
him?
No, sorry,
I've got-
15
Oh,
you
years
saw him
ago,
15 years
so it would've
ago.
been even
Yeah,
before.
so he was
Oh.
he was a child when
Yeah.
he was diagnosed.
Okay.
He was a
And they didn't have
child.
enough money to finish his treatment.
So,
they needed
so
this
we
money to
gave them
finish his
money to
treatment.
go to South Africa, and we also gave them money for his parents to stay
with him.
in a local hotel, B&B,
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
they call them out there, so that they could be with him through his treatment.
I mean, your story is just one of resilience. A lot of people, when they go through the pain of losing a child, you almost just want to be isolated.
Yeah.
But you guys turned that into purpose.
Oh, listen,
and now
if
you've
we
changed.
didn't do this,
you've
I
changed
would
lives.
be finished
Yeah.
if we didn't do this.
Mm.
What would I do?
Yeah.
You know, I miss Daniel every hour of every day. That boy was my absolute life. And he was such a beautiful soul. So this, what we do, we get up in the morning. Honestly, I look forward. This is why we've not retired.
Yeah.
We've kept going,
Yeah.
you know, because it's an absolute blessing. Plus, we have a fantastic team. You've met some of the
Yeah.
guys.
Your office
They
looks lit.
are
Honestly.
amazing
Yeah.
people, and none of them have been affected by this directly, but they love what we do,
Yeah.
and we love them for what they do. You
That's
know?
amazing.
And we appreciate you guys
Honestly.
for what you
Oh,
do.
thank you,
Honestly.
and thank you for allowing us to be here.
Oh.
To just
It's
Thank
your,
you.
It's your playground.
And
whenever
all
you need
from
us.
GRM,
Yeah.
right?
No, not GRM.
no, it was the
what is it?
gala.
The gala.
No, I know you came to the gala,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
we,
but yeah,
we
we
never
really
met
spoke.
you
Yeah.
at
We
the
never
gala.
had the gala.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Yes.
From GRM. That's
Yeah.
big
GRM
shout out
gala.
to GRM.
Yeah.
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 What's the GRM that we actually
Yeah.
finally properly connected and
Yeah,
said we're going to
and
do
our
this.
daughter follows you, by the way.
Oh, does she?
Yes,
Oh,
she
okay.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell her we appreciate her.
You see, from this, who knows from the connections that have been made, people watching, listening, someone hopefully is, or more than one person is going to go, yeah, you know what?
I'll
Hope
register.
so.
I need to do something.
Yeah.
I need to contact them.
do they-
ACLT charity is our name on all of social media platforms.
Yeah.
ACLT.org is our website. Just holler.
We're gonna put all the
Just
links,
holler.
everything in the
Thank
bio
you.
when it comes out, so
Thank
people
you.
can easily
Thank
click
you.
and go directly to it.
I've got one ask of you all though.
Yeah, 100%.
When are you going overseas again?
December.
He's going
After
in
Christmas.
in about a
Where-
few weeks.
are you going-
Uganda.
Uganda.
Yeah.
Going
What's
home.
the Uganda? I think is it 4
I
months?
feel like they said 4. What did you say? 4, 6 months on the
Yeah.
I
call?
don't think
It
it's
depe-
6 months.
Is
for
that too
Uganda.
long?
It's 6 months for Nigeria, definitely.
6 months in Nigeria.
Yeah. When are you going again?
Not going
No, we
anytime
just
soon.
came back.
We just came back, isn't
From
it?
Nigeria.
Oh, okay. When did you get back?
We got back
November.
literally the week after we jumped on the call with you, so it would have been on the
Why can I not
20.
remember? Yeah, the November the 3rd.
No, November 3rd.
Yeah.
Oh,
November
okay.
Yeah,
the
wait,
Okay.
6
So we're
months.
just trying to
Go
see
back
if we
on
can
November
fit
6
you
months.
guys
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Come to one of the
November the
special
3rd.
sessions.
No,
But
100%.
I still feel even before that, I would love for us to. Well, I would organise with the guys. Anyways, we'll come to one of the Brixton.
Yeah,
one
exactly.
drop
Yeah.
Come and have a
Saturdays.
look.
And
Yeah.
we'll probably
Yeah.
just interview people and
That
just
would
speak to
be
people and do
great.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'll organise with the guys. We'll organise. We'll connect, and we'll just come out there and just.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're doing a special one on
mix
the
up with the people.
14th of March, which is
Okay.
Oh,
would
yeah?
have been Daniel's 39th birthday.
Okay.
That's a Saturday.
Okay.
And
maybe
we're inviting a lot of people to come down
Yeah,
on
we'll
that
come
day.
down for
Well,
that.
actually, we'll aim for that then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll
aim. Okay.
There you go.
Because those sessions, like the one on Saturday just now, we had a DJ.
Oh, yeah,
It was
nice.
like it was like a party atmosphere.
And
And people-
Brixton is the place for that. Yeah,
Exactly.
Brixton is the place.
People were
for that.
apparently outside saying, "What's going on in
Okay,
there?" and coming
let's go
in
and give
over,
back.
and
yeah.
getting educated
Yeah.
at the same
Yeah.
time.
That's
So
brilliant.
it's no, really what you guys are doing. Edutainment is
Yeah.
it's just it's,
Mind you, we've heard that term about 15 years ago.
yeah,
Oh, hey.
yeah.
When we used to go to universities and things, the ACSs,
Yeah, yeah.
they used to
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
a lot
ACS.
about
Edutainment.
edutainment.
Oh,
Yeah.
and you guys are taking it to
Yeah,
another
that
level.
was his thing. He came up with that and he stuck. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was it.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Which uni did you go?
Brighton.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah.
did you have an ACS?
We did, yeah.
Okay, there you
Yeah,
go.
I ran for president, but I lost.
Oh, see,
It's
better
okay.
things will come.
Exactly. No, but I feel like honestly today's been so impactful. Would we say the main call to actions are please register on the blood donor registry.
Yeah.
Register.
Register through ACLT.org.
Oh,
Yeah,
ACL. Can they do everything through ACL?
Yes,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
can.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
perfect.
Okay,
So
yeah,
one
yeah.
link.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, on ACL. So obviously all it will be in the description, but please register if you've been moved by today. And if you're unsure, do your own research, but also reach out. The charity are here to answer all your questions.
We're here.
I'm registering.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm just putting out there. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear.
Nothing to fear but
name you
fear
can
itself.
trust.
Nothing to fear but fear itself, honestly.
Yeah.
And guys, we have to help ourselves, man.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's the village.
sure.
Because you never know. God forbid it will never be you or your loved one, but you just never know.
Never know.
So, yeah.
And if it does affect you in any shape or form, directly, indirectly, you know, we'll be in the queue trying to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
You know, so we want to be able to say, you know, if to receive, you got to be able to give.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
works both ways, and
It does.
We'll always be there for you. We'll always have your back.
That's amazing.
brilliant.
That's amazing. Was there anything else you wanted to say before we wrap up?
Yeah, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to you guys for having us.
thank you.
You're men of your word.
Yes.
Yeah.
When we was at that GRM gala, we
Yeah.
said, please, can we do this? And you said yes.
Yeah.
And here we are.
And here we are.
Thank
We
you.
definitely would have had it sooner. But remember,
No,
you guys,
no,
you guys
it's fine.
scheduled
We've
visits, but I
been
feel like
busy.
this is the perfect time.
We've been busy.
And I must say, yourselves and your peers are doing a great service to the community.
Yeah, I think
You really are.
you.
This is not exceptional. This is the norm, and we should make it the norm for our community to learn, and to get our knowledge in the ways that we feel comfortable with. And you're putting it out there, and you're making it accessible to so many who want to learn, all around the world. Whoever's watching, and you're saving lives. And really want to thank you for that, because you're planting the seeds in people's minds, and it will grow, and those seeds will turn to saplings, into trees, and further branches and roots, and lives are going to be saved because of things like tonight.
Conversation. Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Thank you so much.
No, thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you. Honored. Absolutely honored. And anytime.
Okay,
anytime.
Uncle.
No, and you know where we're
Okay,
at now.
Uncle. Okay, Uncle. And okay, Uncle. Thank you so much.
You can just pull up anytime. Just
Anytime,
cover it.
just
We're
pull
recording today.
You might
Appreciate it.
regret saying that.
I know. Never. So yeah, guys, we've come to the end of the episode. Please make sure you check out the ACLT website if you want to find out more information or to register on any of the donor lists. Please subscribe. Like I said before, comment, like, share. Guys, let's help ourselves. We need to make sure we get this registered. Let's oversubscribe so the ACLT are even going to tell us, guys, there's
them
too many
love.
people.
Yes, show them
Too many people
love.
are calling us. Too many people are
Let's
registering. And make sure One Drop Saturdays, every last Saturday of the month in Brixton.
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Visit our website, ACLT.org.
Yeah. Okay, well, till
we
next
go.
time, guys. Peace.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the In My Opinion podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, peace.